particular airway and maintain the airway in a proper method. Okay, particularly we are going to deal with the ET tube. If time permits, I want to hands-on demo. I want to take how to adjust the ET tube length and how to adjust the exact position and how to fix it. How to use the manometer for ET cuff manometer and different airways. So if we come across the airways for non-invasive patients, we use first this is oropharyngeal airway, or else we also call the Guidel airway. This is again having 2 to 3 types. Now first we are going to deal with this one, and next nasopharyngeal airway. This is the nasopharyngeal airway. Okay, and next this is LMA, laryngeal mask airway, and now this is already there, which is without subglottic ET tube. And we have 2 types of ET tubes again. This is subglottic ET tube. Just I am not able to open this, but I will explain. Just once you come here, I will explain practically what is the difference between the subglottic and this one. Right? Yeah. This coming to oropharyngeal airway, how to measure the exact, how to choose the exact oropharyngeal airway size. So this is 2 methods we have. Yes, we can measure from the tip of front of the mouth to the angle of the mandible, from here to here. That is one length, one measurement point, and next other thing is from the angle of the mouth to the lobe of the ear lobe till here. Just no need confusion. Actually, this has the same like our well plant. We have color codes, but it's always better to choose for the right person, right thing. Why I will tell you. So now see, for example, for this patient, this is large. For this patient, this is large. Actually, for this dummy, this is large actually. So why we need to exactly appropriate size. So and when to use, when to not use. The contraindication for this is first most thing, non-cooperative and conscious patient. We should not use this one for the conscious patient at all. And for only unconscious patient who is sedated, who is ventilated, sometimes we will use already after intubation also to protection of the airway from the biting of the tube. Okay. And why we not use a smaller, large one? Actually, basically this will help to prevent the fall of the tongue towards the back. So whenever if we use the small tube, means small oropharyngeal airway, this tip of the oropharyngeal airway will obstruct, it will end by the midpoint of the tongue. So the posterior portion of the tongue will going to collapse the airway. So that is itself causing the airway obstruction. Our main mode to use is to open the airway, but by using the small size, we are making the patient to choke, we are not able to ventilate the patient, and that is one thing. And second thing, if we use the more, as in this case, see I measured this one, this is out of the earlobe now. So this is more. What will happen whenever we are keeping the larger size of the oropharyngeal airway, it will enter, it will go towards, means after the back of the tongue, base of the tongue it should end, but it will go beyond the back of the tongue and it will close the epiglottis. So by that it is closing the airway. So we should not use the bigger size, or we should not use a lesser size, or we should not use the uncooperative patient. Why we not use the in an uncooperative patient is first most important thing is they will gag. The gag reflex is going to aspirate the patient, then mortality rate. So we should avoid the aspiration thing. And this is about the oropharyngeal airway. Again we have sizes for infants to adults. Small, child and adult, in adult, small, large, extra large also there. We can follow the color codes, and the better option is to measure then and there and use that one. That is the best thing. And next, this is the nasopharyngeal airway. This one, the difference between these two is, as we already told us, this is not supposed to be used in conscious patient, but this we can use in the, we should, so when patient is conscious, but we are not going to intubate, but we have to maintain the airway, then this will going to work out. Okay, this is nasopharyngeal airway. Okay, this measurement of this airway is from the tip of nasal tip, from the nasal thing, from nasal part to the lobe of the ear. And this is little small one. For this patient, this is little small one. We have to use next number. Usually we have the numbers of 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8. Okay, and this will be useful for the patient who is chronic bedridden, who is aspirations, who is having less cough reflex, who is secretion pooling chances are more. Those patients we can use this nozzle. And for the before intubation, to protect the airway, and during the semi-conscious patient, before using of NIV, and who is not having aspiration chances at that time, we use this one. And when this patient is going to collapse, by that time, to protect the airway, we can use this one. Alright? And next we are coming across two type of intubation tubes. So now we are using this without subglottic and with subglottic. I will just from here you may not see that subglottic having one extra option. The difference between the subglottic and normal is, the normal tube is directly will keep in the trachea, like which is so from the inside of this, like from here we can suction out the secretions which is dislodging, like which is there in the lungs and trachea. And from the oral we are doing suction till the base of the tongue. But the part from the base, from here to here, the subglottic area below the tongue and above your cuff, above this cuff and below the tongue, we are not able to access. To access that, this is having an extra port, that is subglottic option. So this, from the subglottic suction, we can take it out the suction, and this is for to prevent the VAPs again. And again, this is LMA, laryngeal mask airway. Usually the sizes of the laryngeal mask airway is for females we use 4 and for males 5. Just we remember like that. Again it's having a cuff here we having a cuff. This one most important thing is that laryngeal mask airway is not going to protect from your aspiration. Whenever we are using the laryngeal mask airway, we should be ready with our suction apparatus ready. And this is to this will helpful in the short neck people, like OSA, difficult intubation. This all things. Again, the airway assessment is different based on the Mallampati scale. We are going to decide. There are three finger rule also we can follow. Like patient who is having chronic diseases, like even sometimes the chronic diabetic patients also, having rheumatoid arthritis, systemic lupus erythematosus. All these patients having the jaw joint fixation, and who is having OSA, short neck and double chin. These are all people having a complication of the airway. So those times we can't keep the airway management properly, and we can't keep the ET tube then and there. At that time, it will give a time, and it will give a bridge, like it will give a time to take again intubation and reintubation or tracheostomy, whatever, next airway protection. And this one. So by keeping the LMA, that's one more important thing is this cuff pressure. Here also we have one cuff. This cuff pressure should be 60 cm H2O. 60 cm H2O. And one more important thing, the patient who is requiring less lung compliance and more lung resistant, which is requiring more than 20 pressures in NIV pressure control, when we are NIV or ANGO, whatever that time, the patient is not able to maintain with 20 cm H2O of lung pressures, peak pressures, we should not use this one. As above the 20 cm pressures requirement, lung condition that much bad, when we are using this, because of this pressure is not sufficient to hold on the esophagus. So because of if you use the more pressure, so then the air will go to the esophagus, lead to esophagus, and it will cause for again aspiration. So any airway before that, patient positioning and suctioning is very, very important, even though we are using this one or laryngeal airway or this one or what. And next one more airway is there for the tracheostomy. Here, in the again tracheostomy, I am not able to get the tracheostomy now, but here again we have tracheostomy also. 3 to 4 types are there. So one is cuffed one, and non-cuffed silicone one is there, and subglottic, without subglottic, and funnel-stated tubes also there. Just again we'll take another class, we'll take about that, we'll talk about that. So now our main motto here, just we are following in individual ICU, we are following different type of tube production and tube, like with somebody using dynaplaster, somebody using etuplasty and all these things. So just to streamline, just better to follow everyone in the same manner, that is ideal. And what are the main problems we are coming across this normal tube is just this is normal tube which is not having any subglottic option, and this is more thin. And I forgot one thing, just to how to measure the ET tube size. Just roughly remember that 7 size is for female and 8.5 is for males. 7.5 for females. And till up to 6 tube we have like a with cuff and without cuff tubes also there for the pediatric use. Below 2 years age we will use a 2 number size, so 4 number size, and in the pediatric case we will use 6 without cuff. Okay, this in the adult we will use with cuff. And normal depth. Then one more type of intubation is there, even with the same ET tube, nasal endotracheal tube. Now we are 99% we are following only oral, but only thing whenever we are having the maximum like surgeries related to the mandible, surgeries related to any cancer, like I think any lower the part of the hard palate, any surgeries involving, we are going to intubate through the nose. But it is always having some complications, who is having sinus, who is having nasal polyps, and who is having sometimes tumors or anything, it is always having problem. And one more thing, while placing this even nasogastric, even while placing this nasal airway, we have to be sure that patient who is on blood thinners, who is on bleeding factors, all these things, who is having complications with bleeding, they have to be careful while keeping it. Anyway, I am not opening this, but I will tell that how to place this one. Just supine the patient, and from the we have to hold like a pen. The tip we have to hold like a pen, and open the jaw and place from mouth to till the base of the tongue we have to keep, and it should not above the base of the tongue, and it should not go. And one more important, this is not going to go inside the trachea. It will not go inside the trachea. Just it will cover your base of the tongue. Below the base of the tongue, just it will cover the epiglottis, and such a way it will leads to the air towards the lungs. We can use in the emergency condition when intubation is going to get late, or intubation some professionals are not or like. And the difference between the subglot. Yeah, I already told. Yeah. Again, come across this. What are the problem we are facing is. Yeah, this is most of the chance to kink at the base of the tongue. So outside, whenever you see, it is looking like tube is okay, but we are not able to maintain the ventilation, and we are not able to go the suction catheter in. And one more thing, just by the way, I am telling the one point important, that suction catheter, whenever you are feeling the suction catheter is not going inside exactly to the length of the ET tube, that is always think about that kink is here, or we are obstructing at the eye of the tube here. The suction catheters, if it is kinked, it will stop here and it will stop and it will not go inside. We may feel that it is already entered into the carina and it is touching there. That is the reason it is not going, but it is not. It's supposed to go till the length is there, how much? 25. Then in the suction catheter also the 25 should match. Till that time, whatever force, whatever speed you can go, it is no problem because it is inside the tube. After that, we have to be careful. And this tip, now in this class, even we are going to cover about that, like where is the tip of the ET tube should be placed, and how to confirm the ET tube, placement in the radiologically. Sorry, I forgot to bring the X-rays, but anyway we will get it if possible, time possible. And how to confirm the radiological and how to fix it. Yeah, I told you that the base of the tongue, kink at the base of the tongue, one problem. And one more thing, because of this over flexibility, even though tube inside the tube it is misplaced towards one side also, that external its appearance looks like it is normal, but inside it is going to somewhere else. But in this subglottic tube option, it is not. It is little bit thick, and it is not going to be kink, or it is not going to be rotated. So what is the problem arise with this if we rotate like, and yes, while tying the tube, this markings is very important. According to that, we are going to decide the side and size and how much depth it should be, and rotation also it will decide. As it is the exactly right angle to the ET tube, always place this ET tube like always place. Just I am not intuiting this, but just showing you. Yeah. See this right angle marking should be at the angle of the mouth. and it should not like rotate upwards or downwards. As it rotate at the end of the at the thigh, it is going to lead the rotation inside the lungs, which is going to cause like single lung ventilation or aspiration also sometimes, and even tracheal trauma. And one more thing about how much cough pressure we should maintain. This is one more important point. So usually the adult ET tubes having capacity of 10 cc and more also sometimes, but our thing is pressures are important. We have to measure the pressure with cough manometer. One method is there, and second most important, like the second anywhere you can use, like this is not available in every ICU, So second thing you can follow that minimal leakage protocol. 25 to 35 cm H2O we have to maintain inside. Why we have to maintain only 25 to 35 means, yes, our capillary pressures of the trachea inside vessels is equivalent to 25 to 35. If you keep more than 25 to 35 pressures of this, it is going to be necrotized. It is going to be cause trauma for your trachea and causing for the fistula also. So that's the reason we have to keep less. And one more patients also we have to keep little less pressures in the patients of who is having hypertension. As they are hypertension, they are causing for the more cause of the less blood supply to the trachea and causing for the necrosis. So we have to keep very important. As in our ICU we are following at least 2 times measurement in the morning and evening shift. So measuring the depth of the ET tube, side of the ET tube, and pressure of the ET tube. Yeah. So minimal leakage protocol. See this one. This tube is directly connected to this bulb. This is cuff, and this is external cuff. It will reflect here. By seeing itself also we can say that inside how the cuff is. If it is inflated, it is fully bulged. So inside also it is there. So if you are having very good practice, if you just by touching also you can tell that without manometer also, but it's needs some experience. But follow the minimal leakage protocol. Minimal leakage protocol is like once after placing this, after inflating the ET tube, after inflating the cuff, just deflate the cuff as you are able to listen a minimal leak sound from the mouth, or else as you are able to find the minimal leak, only just 10 to 20 ml of leak from the ventilator. These two protocols you can follow in spite of this. But patients who is having non-cooperative patients, who is having seizures, who is having tongue bite, who is having biting the tube, we should be careful. Along with this, we can use the oropharyngeal airway also. After placing the ET tube, when we are making it when we are tying it and fixing it properly, the one common mistake what we will do is, we will start practical, or else some 4-5 members who is interested. Like here you can see directly. Hands-on you can do, and you can auscultate, and you can come across the exact problems what you are facing. The practical problems what we are facing is at the base of the tongue, it is in the right side. Now for the patient, it is in the right side of the base of the tongue, but external appearance, it is in the left. As it show the misinterpretation of the length of the tube. It will show it, for example, here it is showing the 22, but actually it is in the length of the 20 only, as the length is wasted. Length is wasted from this side to that side, opposite side. So any time when we are keeping the ET tube and tying the ET tube in the morning, we have to make sure that our ET tube at the base of the tongue should be at the same side. And we are following daily changing protocol, like right to left, left to right every day. But as studies showing that the infection rate is increasing if you are using at the dialysis side and sheath side. So we are avoiding that. For in the prone position, anyway we are using all lines and ET tube at the same side. but for the regular patients, it's just better to change every day, side to side, right and left. Daily protocol is a better option. Yeah. And one more practical problem is, as I already told that these markings, if you are not maintaining these markings in the right angles,